What is something you refuse to take seriously? All of those political commercials. I just laugh at how horribly the candidates attack each other. Marty Huggins can't take care of his wife, so I did. I sincerely approve this message. Ambiguous one-line posts on Facebook from people seeking attention. You okay, hun? Yes. Or any vague post that ends with something like you know who you are. Exactly. And they know who they are. Facebook has a message function for a reason. Write to them, rather than involve everyone else. The most ironic and hypocritical ones are status updates about people saying shh behind my back, rather than to my face. You know who you are. Then the person replies, yeah, don't wanna talk about it, or it's none of your business. Don't effing post it on Facebook then. This annoys me to no end. This annoys me to immediate end, rather than no end, because I just unfollow that person. It's called vagabooking. I'm like so upset right now. My dad punched me in the face cause I lost my Alois Vitten. Magic shows on television. I'm not impressed. If you can use editing, I think the one exception to that is Penn and Teller, Fool Us, where the whole point is P&T trying to work out how the trick is done. That's a great show. Nancy Grace. Those bracelets that are supposed to give you energy, hey, those actually work. Without it I would never beaten the Goron Temple in Zelda. Ashton Kutcher. He can look like Steve Jobs or a member of the Coast Guard all he wants, but once he opens his mouth all that comes out is calso. Damn Jackie, I can't control the weather. Love that phrase. Every time my wife complains about the weather I say it. Her name isn't Jackie. The bag was on fire. Oh, don't tell me you invited crap shoes. Also the fact that he looks the same since the beginning of that 70s show. If Kutcher played JFK, got the accent perfect, and nailed an Academy Award winning performance, all I would be able to hear the whole time would be damn, Jackie, burn, which would still make sense, cause the Kennedys. Kim Jong-un's threats. He's like the kid who always threatens to take his ball and go home, but he doesn't own the ball and his house kind of sucks anyway. Something banned from /r/ping pong. If he threatened to eat an entire pizza I would take him very seriously. Seriously, he threatens war every few months. Then nothing happens. He's like a kid threatening to run away from home. Maybe that's the long game. Like a reverse boy who cried wolf until nobody pays attention until kaboom. It's just a political gambit where he gets to impress his people by interacting with other players on the world stage. The Facebook posts that have some ridiculous. If I get 1 Brazilian likes, my grandmother's cancer will disappear and I'll take off my shirt. My favorites are the obviously photoshopped pictures of Bill Gates offering $10,000 to everyone who shares a picture on some random comedy page. These make me so mad. The last one I saw said something like I'm finally giving back. Finally giving back. He owes nobody anything. He's already given so much. 98% of people will just scroll by this. What will you do? Make it 99%. Tabloid magazines. 95% of it is made up bullshit about celebrities. Woman goes outside. Man walks dog. Person seen with new haircut. Sounds like a Jeremy Clarkson intro to a Top Gear episode. Tonight, James goes outside. Richard walks a dog. And the Stid gets a haircut. Reality TV. Never will I take anything on those shows serious. Yep. And I'm so torn with the Whose Line Is It Anyway series. I love it, but it's probably well directed. The new ones make me sad. It's like a corporate body snitcher crawled inside Whose Line and just made it a little wrong. You can only tell occasionally by looking into the void behind Colin's dead eyes. My son had it on Duck Dynasty, so I tuned in for a few minutes. One of the guys had a shake weight and was using it in his office. Another walked in and said to him name. What if someone walks in and sees you doing that? My first thought, there's a freaking camera in your face. Millions are seeing him do that. Not that I didn't think these types of shows were scripted, but my god, how obvious was that? I told my son, if he wanted to watch it, go in the other room. I can't watch that garbage. Even reality shows with interesting subject matter storm chasers are eventually ruined by people dramsing it up for the camera. Sat. Zero tolerance policies in elementary school. Kids say bang bang and pew pew while playing because that is what they see on TV and in games. They don't actually want to kill each other. They are too young to even understand what that means. but do it once, and you're suspended instead of being sat in a corner these days. I don't know where the logic has gone. You'd have to zero this one on the parents who blame the schools for everything. My son got punched. I'm suing. My daughter's hair got pulled. I'm suing. When I was in 4th grade I was sliding down the banister of a set of stairs, flipped over one side, and pile drove myself onto the concrete floor. I woke up 20 minutes after it happened in the nurse's office. I dreaded calling my mom. The superintendent ended up doing it. She got to the school and they were apologizing furiously. My mom stopped them and said, "Why are you sorry? He's the stupid one." I got lectured that night about being responsible and the consequences of what could happen if there were no adults around. Nice. I mouthed off to a teacher my freshman year. Something stupid like smugly saying I didn't do the homework. This guy was about 6'3" and had been teaching for who knows how long. He taught in a room next to one of his former students, and she got an award for teaching for 25 years. And he taught at an all-boys school when he started. He came over, stood over me, and said, "Boy, I wish I still taught at a Catholic school so I could beat you, eh?" I told my parents about it years later, and their response was, "Why didn't you tell us sooner? We'd have written a letter giving him permission." Wait, you were unconscious for 20 minutes and the school didn't call an ambulance? The one thing about zero tolerance that really upsets me is if some shhead picks on you every day and makes your life a literal hell each day. Even if he throws the first punch, you have to sit there and proceed to let him beat the shit out of you in order to not get suspended. Nope. Even if you sit there and take it, you are still involved. Anybody who types lick please, leak if you cree every team. One leak eyes one pra. People who wear fake glasses. Otherkin, fairykin, etc. You're not convincing me that you're a turtle trapped in a human's body. Disclaimer, this is completely different from gender dysphoria and I feel like it makes people take transness less seriously. And it's always a cool as F animal too. Never something mundane like a squirrel or an ant. It's always a wolf, or a tortoise, or a hawk, or a refined dragon. If you're going to follow some bullshit excuse to behave like an animal, pick a real one. Jesus, F it. I feel like a dragon sometimes. I get the urge to burn down large portions of land, destroy things and laugh about it. Or maybe I'm just a guy. At least this guy ran with his beliefs. Oh, this reminds me of that Tumblr by the trans fat turtle kid. Her mother caught her crawling on the floor while she channeled her inner turtle. This is the girl that couldn't get a job because she was disabled. Tumblr is freaking comedy gold mine. Found it. Jen here. My mom just walked in on me during a past life regression. I was crawling around the floor slowly. She asked me what I was doing, and I told her that she wouldn't understand. She kept pressing, and I told her I was experiencing past life regression. I told her about how I was a tortoise in my past life, and about my tortoise memories. I ended up coming out as otherkin to her, and had to explain what that meant. She got angry, and told me to grow up, and fill out some job applications online. I don't even know why she would tell me to fill out job applications, when I'm going to be moving soon. I can't wait to move. I'm so sick of living with a bigoted alcoholic mother who is afraid of what she doesn't understand. Far right and far left talk show anchors, there's no way they believe the spew. Adding to this, cable news in general is complete rubbish. Give me below salary, and I'll believe anything you want me to. Guys with handlebar mustaches, all I wanna hear you talk about is unicycles and kazoos. You carnival face moth earther. Donald Trump's hairstyle. Truck balls. Homeopathy. It does not take a very thorough understanding of science or medicine to know that it is 99.9999% fake. Well, my friend, I think you'll find this website very interesting, but its power is even stronger at a 0.0001% truth concentration. Just kidding. I kill homeopaths on weekends, but that makes the rest of them stronger. Cable news. North Korea. People who believe in astrology, like, not people who read their horoscope for fun, but people who genuinely believe the date you were born on determines your personality and your future. A Brazilian actress recently had her doctor deliver her baby before the proper time because she didn't want the kid to be born a Virgo. The birth was premature and the kid had to be taken to the ICU. I don't know what pisses me off more in this whole story, the crazy mother or the doctor who agreed to go through with it. The doctor. I've heard sheer tales of parenting. What's up with Virgo? Today I was working with an older Egyptian lady and she asked me what my astrological sign was. I predicted where this conversation would go, and so I lied and said Libra. Then she spent about 15 minutes saying I knew it, and here's why. After all that I kinda felt bad and told her the truth. You know what? I'm just kidding. I'm actually a Capricorn. To which she said, that was a very Capricorn thing to do, play a joke, and then confess the truth. I can't effing win with these people. You should've kept going. If you next told her that you're actually a Leo, she'd go, Leos love to claim that they're Capricorn. It has to do with their mental physical conflict of wanting to exercise their wild attitudes. Then you go, gotcha, actually a Taurus, and she'll respond with typical Taurus. Compulsive liars at their finest. They love to string long lies together to get to a joke. Marie's than a Capricorn. Literally anything you say can be justified by some BS explanation, which is why people who can't see outside the box buy so heavily into astrology that there's no way you'd be able to disprove them. This actually caused serious issues in my previous relationship. She would base major decisions or think that I was about to cheat on her or break up with her based on what some app told her about our horoscopes. I should have just made up my own site and put what she needed to hear. Sean Spencer from Psych does this in an episode with Juliet. He writes something along the lines that your one true love will be wearing an Apple Jacks shirt, and lo and behold he walks up to her in an Apple Jacks shirt. Thank you. I've gotten into fights with coworkers about this. Their reasoning is somewhere along the lines of it's the moon and stars and science blurja blah. Astrophysicist here. I hate those people. I really like this part from Douglas Adams, mostly harmless. I know that astrology isn't a science, said Gail. Of course it isn't. It's just an arbitrary set of rules like chess or tennis. Or, what's that strange thing you British play? Cricket. Self-loathing. Parliamentary democracy. The rules just kind of got there. They don't make any kind of sense, except in terms of themselves. But when you start to exercise those rules, all sorts of processes start to happen. And you start to find out all sorts of stuff about people. In astrology the rules happen to be about stars and planets, but they could be about ducks and drakes for all the difference it would make. It's just a way of thinking about a problem which lets the shape of that problem begin to emerge. The more rules, the tinier the rules, the more arbitrary they are, the better. It's like throwing a handful of fine graphite dust on a piece of paper to see where the hidden indentations are. It lets you see the words that were written on the piece of paper above it that's now been taken away and hidden. The graphite's not important. It's just the means of revealing their indentations. So you see, astrology's nothing to do with astronomy. It's just to do with people thinking about people. Redditors. Gotta love people that are essentially anonymous, so they can pretend to be an expert in everything. Brain surgeon and rocket scientist can confirm. The local news. What a bunch of horse. The Flat Earth Society. Anyone who has self-diagnosed themselves as gluten sensitive. This is just a hypothesis that I have. I've never really seen any evidence for it, but I feel like some of the self-proclaimed gluten intolerant people who say that they feel better after not eating gluten for a while are in part succumbing to the placebo effect, and in part consuming less carbohydrates in general. Considering that a lot of people eat too many carbs, I wouldn't be surprised if this was the cause of the improvement that comes with the gluten cleanse. Just a thought though. Also, I work at a restaurant with a good amount gluten-free items and substitutions and always get scared of cross-contamination for people with celiac disease. My grandma and aunt are both diagnosed celiacs and can't eat gluten without being sick for days after. Both have been hospitalized from it. All these idiots claiming to be sensitive is so irritating to them because they literally cannot have it. People seem to take it less seriously now. Honestly though, since not eating gluten has become somewhat trendy, it has made it much easier for them because more places offer gluten-free food, and gluten-free foods are starting to not taste like absolute. My boyfriend was diagnosed by a doctor, I'm told, with gluten sensitivity, and he has a full pantry of alternative foods. Every once in a while, though, he'll just forget about it for a day and nothing seems to go wrong. It makes me mad because I have to dance around his special diet 90% of the time for what seems to be no reason. He is literally having his cake and eating it, too. Any couple under the age of 25 that gets engaged after 2 months of dating. Any couple under the age of 25 that gets engaged after 2 months of dating. FTFY. Terrorism. You are more likely to die by falling in your bathtub. What if the terrorists rigged your bathtub to be more slippery? That really depends on where you live. I can think of a lot of places where the bathtub menace isn't going to be your primary concern. Anti-vaxxers, chemtrails, health at every size. He's. Care to elaborate on that last one? I have never heard of it. Health at every size are people who think that health has nothing to do with how fat you are. They claim that fat and even morbidly obese people can be perfectly healthy, and doctors who say otherwise are just trying to hurt their feelings and or oppress them. They also